All right. Welcome, everyone, to our very exclusive Team Advent call. Today is Wednesday, September 9th. I hope everyone had a very nice Labor Day weekend. We have two special guests on our call today. We have Cheryl English, who is our sales manager for the Latino market, and we have Mr. Kim Carver, who is our senior director for the entire Latin market as well. And we are so excited to have you both on the call. Today, they will be talking to us about belief and the importance of hitting a leap. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. Cheryl, you first.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, first of all, good afternoon, Team Advent. I love the name, let me just tell you. And thank you for giving me and Kim the opportunity to be in this call that you guys earn. You guys earned this. You're not here by chance. You guys worked really hard the last couple of months helping people improve their lives while also changing yours. And I just want you guys to know that we are very proud of you as a team. You guys are making a huge difference in this world, and for that, I'm very, very grateful. But before I pass the time over to Kim, I just want to share with you a quote that I found the other day and really spoke to me. This quote said, "If you want to be happy, you have to be happy on purpose. When you wake up, you can't just wait to see what kind of day you'll have. You have to decide what kind of day you'll have." Now, please allow me to be a little bit vulnerable and share some personal things with you. The main reason why I love that quote is because my whole life I have struggled with depression. And when you suffer from depression, a simple act or action can either make your day or break it. Growing up, it was really hard for me to express my feelings, and it's still a little bit hard, but I'm getting better at it. And I was misunderstood by my friends and my family a lot. But one day, I finally came to the realization that I had the power to decide what kind of day, week, month, year, or life I could have. I have that power. The power is in my decisions. The power is in deciding. But what's great about that quote is the fact that the same principle applies to this business, deciding. You can't just wait for success to come across your path. You can't just wake up one day and hope that things will work out for you. You have to decide. You have to act because you have the power. And once you realize that, everything changes. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that by deciding to work hard and fight for success, everything will be easy, because it probably won't be easy unless you're one of those really lucky people out there. But one thing is for sure, there is beauty in fighting. There is beauty in taking control of your life, of your business. There is a beauty that comes from waking up every single day excited to give it your best shot. So what I want to do today, guys, is I want to encourage you to continue making decisions every day that will help you be the coach, the mom, the leader that you know that you can be, because you have that power. It's just a matter of deciding and taking action. So that's my message. And now for the real treat, I'm going to hand the time over to my BFF, Kim, who has a special message for you regarding belief. So, Kim?
Thank you. Oh, it's a pleasure to be with everyone tonight. As I look at myself here in the Zoom, I am reminded of how badly I need a haircut right now. I don't know what this is right here, but apparently it's my hair trying to find a home in a place that matters. So I'm in that awkward stage where I'm trying to delay my haircut long enough before my next trip so it looks good on the trip. So I'm kind of in between haircuts right now. That has absolutely nothing to do with belief. I have no idea why I started that way. And so since you're recording this, Gabby, you probably should edit this out before you publish it anywhere. Anyway, no, it's a pleasure to be here with everybody. I am excited for the opportunity to share this time with you. And congratulations for earning the call, for being here, for putting in the work and effort to do this. And I hope that I will be able to say something that will help you. In my experience, these type of calls kind of go one or two ways. It's either something where you're going to come out and you're going to have a couple nuggets, some ideas that can move your business forward, or you're going to come out and go, oh, that was nice. But then 5 minutes later, you're going to be kind of back into the same habits and the same mindset you were before this call. And that'll be sad if that's the case. What I found is the difference maker, honestly, is depends on how we engage in these calls and the commitment that we want and we're willing to make and ready to make when we take the time to do this. You're here now. You've earned it. You've taken the time to be here, to listen, and to hopefully get some ideas. And so I think you're prepared. Now what I'm wondering is if you've got then the courage to be able to apply some of the insights that you're going to gain, not from anything I say necessarily, okay? Don't expect anything too profound, but of the ideas that hopefully will come to your mind on how you can apply them to your business. That's the difficult part. And so as we get ourselves geared up to talk for the next little bit here, I'm going to encourage all of you to kind of put on that mindset, okay? And take that on, that ability, that readiness and willingness to commit right now. And so as those thoughts and ideas come to your mind, those impressions hit your heart, that you'll be able to write them down, do something so that you then after the call can take 10, 15 minutes and say, this is how I'm going to make this happen. So the investment that I made tonight to be here is actually going to be a benefit to me. Now, the sad truth is, some of you are going to hear me and some of you are going to do that and some of you are going to get benefit from it. Some other users probably aren't going to. You're going to hear me and go, that sounds right. And then tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and nothing's going to really have changed. Okay? And that's a decision that you have to make. Now, I've kind of prepared here some talking points, some things that I want to walk through with you about belief, okay? About what it is to believe and why that matters in our business. And I'm going to talk in pretty deep terms. I'll try not to touch too many nerves. I don't think I will in a group this size, but I'm going to talk pretty direct to you based on experience that I've had in working with coaches and how belief impacts what we do. And if we do this right, the application will be much broader than just Beachbody, okay? Your Beachbody coaching business will give you the platform and the opportunities to develop some of these areas in your life that you've probably been running from for a lot of your life, okay? You got to get to a point, then you retreat. You get to a point, you kind of retreat, you dodge. You've got very good at kind of hiding behind some of these fears. And your Beachbody business gives you an opportunity to kind of face those and get over those and get past them, if you will. And the benefits of that impact your families, impact all the other facets of your life, because belief isn't just something that you experience as a Beachbody coach. Chances are it impacts a lot of your life. And so what I want you to think about a little bit here is that when I'm working with coaches, some of the things that are interesting to me is when I look at the way that fear and self-doubt start to really dictate to somebody how they live their life, right? I want you to think for just a second, how many things have you done or not done? So probably best, how many things have you not done or even tried in your life because you lacked belief in yourself? When there was an opportunity somewhere or there was potential somewhere and you immediately discounted yourself. And the reason why I want to ask that on the outset is I want you to just think about something real quick, which is a simple question of how long are you going to let that fear and self-doubt kind of control you? Now, I'm saying that to you not from a pulpit here of preaching. I'm saying that as someone who gets that, okay? Someone who feels that. My wife several years ago gave me this little bar. It's heavy as heck, so I'll try not to drop it on my computer. But it says, what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? And so she knows that about me. And she knows fear, self-doubt, oftentimes doesn't come when we're doubting our abilities. But sometimes, and in fact, a lot of times when I work with coaches, it comes with a fear of not being perfect, okay? It comes with a fear of, if I can't be perfect, then boy, how can I put myself into that? And a lot of times fear and self-doubt has roots in very positive parts of our personalities, of wanting to act with integrity, of wanting to act with confidence, of wanting to be everything we represent ourselves to be. But where we take it too far is where we imply on that perfection. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that everybody has self-doubts. Everyone is unsure of themselves in one way or another. And a lot of times, though, when you're sitting there and you're talking about self-doubt and fear, it's easy to feel very alone. You don't need to feel alone, because you're not the only one that feels that way. Everyone feels that way in one aspect or another in their life. But I'll tell you what the difference is. The difference is in how they respond to those feelings, okay? When thoughts come to your mind like, can I really do this? Or other people are better, smarter, or more, maybe more worthy than me than that, okay? When those thoughts come to our mind, things like, what are people going to think of me if I can't do this? Or what will they think of me if I say this, or if I make this post? If you've ever spent more than 5 minutes crafting and recrafting and editing and re-editing posts, okay, before you put them on social media, this is something I want you to think about, okay? Is how long are we going to let that, what's the decision, how long are we going to let that control us? Okay, I don't want to risk failure. Okay, success is for other people. It's not for me. These are some of the things that we often tell ourselves that really, guys, they only do damage to us. At least that's what we think. But I'm going to push your thinking a little bit on that. They do damage to us, but they also cheat the other people that we could have helped had we applied ourselves. Had we applied ourselves and put ourselves in their life. Because I do believe that there are people out there who need they've heard it 100 times. They know they need to lose weight. They know they need to be more healthy. They've heard 100 times, but for some reason, your story, your experience, the way that you've gone through it will hit them in the right way, that finally they'll have the courage and the belief to take some necessary steps. And they'll bless you for it. They will count you as a blessing in their life for the rest of their life. But you've got to be willing to take those steps forward, and that requires belief. And so I want to ask you during this call, as we're talking through some of these points, to start trusting yourself more, okay? To believe in yourself more, that you're worth the investment in yourself of that belief, okay? That you're worth the investment of time and energy and the focus of the positive things in your life. I want you to think that has to take, if I am worthy of that, because you are, if I'm worthy of thinking positive before I think negative of myself, then I should make sure that those type of thinking, it happens in abundance in my life more than the negative thinking. Let me give you an example. My son Joshua, let me find that guy. I should have a picture of this. So this is my son Joshua. My son Joshua, cute little kid, takes after his mom. Lucky for him. Joshua this year played basketball for the very first time. And he was so excited because at school, when he would go to school, he loved to play basketball with his friends at school, right? Loved to play basketball with them. And he would go out and play on the yard, come back and tell me how much he liked basketball. And so he said, great, we're going to get you into a basketball program. And so we put him into a basketball program. And then he had to go to practice. And he realized real quick that messing around with your friends at recess on a basketball court is a lot different than playing basketball. He came back. He didn't know the plays. He didn't know some of the terminology. He didn't know this. He made mistakes. He ran the wrong way. He didn't understand what this coach was saying. And he was like, the heck with this. I don't want to do basketball anymore. I hate basketball. I don't want to play basketball. Okay? I can't play basketball. I'm sucky at basketball. All these things. He came to us and said that, right? And so I think you guys can all see where I'm going with this, right? As parents, these things happen. Those of you who have kids know that. And one of the rules we have in our house is that when we commit to something, we do it, okay? We have what we call the Carver mantras. One of the Carver mantras, the Carver kids don't quit. And so I looked at my son. I said, well, you made a commitment, and Carver kids don't quit. He goes, I know. Blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, you're going to finish this year. And at the end of the year, then we can have a conversation about it. Okay. So what did he do? He went in there, and he went to every practice. And just as you guys can expect, as he started to understand the plays and everything else, the game very quickly became fun for him. And at the end of the year, he was one of the better players on the team, not the best. But he liked playing basketball again. Okay. A lot of times, why do I say that? Because a lot of times I think as coaches, we're kind of this way, right? We are, we're kind of like my son Joshua, right? Where at the beginning of the basketball season, sometimes as coach, we're expecting perfection from ourselves, or near perfection, if you will, but we haven't, and I want you to listen to this real quick, okay? But we haven't paid the price necessary to perform at the level you're holding yourself to. I'm going to say that again because I know it's kind of long, but I think there's a point in there I want to hope you're catching, okay? That it's okay to expect ourselves to be great. We want to be great. We want to be successful. But I think the disconnect and where belief starts to suffer is we hold ourselves up to this level of performance, or we want this from ourselves. But when we don't measure up to that in the beginning, we start to sow seeds of self-doubt. But here's the truth. Just like my son Joshua, sometimes we forget that there's a price that we have to pay, which includes messing up, which includes rejection, which includes a lot of other things, to pay that price to earn the level of performance that we're holding ourselves to. All right? So, having said all of that, I'm gonna now, I think you kind of get where I'm at. What I want to share with you right now are 5 actions, 5 takeaways from the call that I'm going to suggest to you that you can put into play and you can start implementing pretty easily in your business, and that will help you elevate and foster greater belief within yourself and within your team. And it's not complicated, you guys. It's not complicated. And heavens knows, you guys, there are people a lot smarter than me that have written millions of books on how to believe, how to increase confidence. But these are things that I have found as I have worked with coaches and worked with people in similar situations over the last 15 years that really that help. And so I'm going to try to dial it in specifically for you guys. Okay. The first thing, and I want you to put under this one if you're taking notes, the first action to take is to make sure that you are daily experience your business daily. Okay. Now let me explain to you what I mean by that. As a coach, you have to experience your business because your coaching experience is going to be unique to you. So trying to compare your experience to somebody else is just going to mess with your mind. Your experience is going to be unique to you, and the only way that you're going to get to fall in love with your coaching business is to do your coaching business. Okay? I want you to think about those of you that are parents. I want you to think about the sacrifices that you make in your children, the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows. You're involved, you're invested, you are experiencing being a parent. And that's where that depth of love and appreciation and not only that, but it's that commitment that fosters your ability to parent effectively. When we think about, sometimes it amazes me when I've got coaches, I'll work with coaches who almost refuse to experience their business on a daily basis, but yet they expect themselves, okay, to have the experience and have developed the skills necessary right away to have the results that they want. And they get very frustrated with themselves. So when I talk about experiencing your business daily, I'm talking about improving your skills. There are a certain set of skills that you need to become good at as a coach. Inviting people, forming with people, building new relationships, mentoring people in challenge groups, inviting people to coaching, helping them get started right on coaching, okay? Those type of skill sets, they're to expect yourself to perform them perfectly is, you're going to be very frustrated. If you wait to think about it just in general in your life, anytime you start something new, if you waited to do something new until you could do it perfectly, you would never do anything. But yes, sometimes we expect, we do, I did a bunch of invites this month and nothing ever happened of it. This business isn't for me. Now, I'm not very good at this, and I'm not good at leading people because I did this and this, and boy, it didn't work out. And we take these little examples, these little instances in our life, and we make broad brushstrokes of application on who we are. And that's not fair. That's not fair to us. That's not fair to anybody, okay? And so when we make a commitment to experience our business on a daily basis, what we're making a commitment to do is to get and develop the skills necessary. Now, of course, we need to get to training. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Okay, keep it simple. Don't try and rethink everything. Just trust me. Keep it simple. Don't add layers to it. there's a statement calling mastering the mundane. I know it gets hard making Facebook posts every single day. I know it gets hard doing, but you guys, that's the job. That's what we do. That's how we reach people. And the more we do it, the better you get at it. Because chances are it's not a big change you got to make. It's just a little change. And it's going to take some time to figure out what that tweak is. And the only way you're going to discover it is by you doing it on a daily basis. Okay? I wish this was like the Matrix, right? Or I could just kind of plug a needle on the back of your head and upload experience, but we can't do that. The only way we can do that is by experiencing our business daily. And when we do that, we get better at it. And when we get better at something, when our competence increases, our confidence increases. And the only way that you're going to increase your competence in those skills is by doing your business, experiencing your business daily. So what are your goals? What's your action plan? How are you holding yourself accountable? What things are you holding yourself accountable to do every single day to make sure that you are experiencing your business as a coach every single day? If you don't have that in place, that is one of the first steps to building increasing belief in yourself, is to have a plan and to act on that plan. Okay? The second thing, and I want you to write this down. I'm going to say this, give yourself a break. Okay? And I talked a little bit about this, but I'm going to make a little bit more of a point on this because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. I want you to focus on, again, making sure that you're being patient with your imperfections. And I want you to think about it this way. Instead of focusing on the imperfections, what I'm going to ask you to do is when you get tripped up, I want you to focus on the progress in the process. This is a process that you're going through to learn and to grow. Anytime you do anything new, but speaking specifically of this as a coach, there's a process that you have to go through, this experience. And during that experience, you're going to mess up. You're going to do things that are goofy and it's going to get sideways on you. And your choice then is going to be, do I do self-defeating behavior? Do I do negative self-talk? Do I beat myself down? Do I throw myself a pity party? Do I indulge myself in these self-defeating behaviors? Or do I make the choice to see the progress in the process? What is it that I learned? How can I do this better next time? I don't like the way this ended up, but what were some of the things that I did right? And then how can I make it better next time? Okay? That to me is an important step in belief because it starts to foster how we view ourselves. Now, chances are some of you on this call have the habit of very defeating self-talk, of being very negative and hard on yourself. And you believe that it stays in here in your mind, and you believe that you've created this face and this disguise that kind of hides it well, but I promise you it doesn't. It comes through in your mannerisms, it comes through in how you articulate things, it comes across in a way, and that makes recruiting 10 times harder. I always tell coaches, look, 80% of recruiting is you. 80% of getting a new it's you. And are what you putting out something that a challenger or a coach would look at and go, that's something that I want to be a part of? And I promise you, when you're engaging and indulging in negative self-talk repeatedly over and over and over again, you're creating an aura, or you're projecting things that are pushing people away from you, or at least making it harder for them to be attracted to what you're doing. So stop it. Give yourself a break. See progress in the process. See the sunshine and not the shadow, okay, in what you're doing in your life. The third thing, is to focus on self-discipline. And when I work with coaches, some of you may have heard, I use this phrase a lot. I say, we got to control the controllable. We've got to control the controllable. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about self-discipline. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes a lot of the belief that we have is our lack of belief, or when we get self-doubt, is based on things that are guys, they're out of our control. Just if someone makes a decision to not join, or to drop out, or to cancel, or to not get in a challenge group, or whatever, that's their decision. But yet we readily take that on as if it were our fault. Okay, we take something that's out of our control on and lay it on ourselves. So when I'm going to talk about focus on self-discipline, what I'm talking about now is this idea of controlling the controllable. I want you to think about success as kind of being like this this collection of actions that you have to do, inviting and forming and being consistent and all these other things. And in this little collection, if you will, of activities, there are some things in those activities that you like to do. And all of you are probably a little bit different. Some of you might actually like to invite and like to go make friends. Some of you probably hate it. So the point is, there's in this collection, there's going to be things that you like to do, but then there's also going to be things that you don't like to do. Okay? And the reality is you don't need self-discipline to do the things that you like to do. You do those anyway. Okay? And in fact, what most people end up doing when I'm talking to them at this stage is they focus so much on just doing the things they like to do that they ignore the other things that are required for them. They're in this collection required for them to be successful, but they ignore them. So they fill their day doing these things they like to do, but they ignore a segment of what's required, the actions that are required to be successful because they don't like to do them. One of the key differentiators between people who are successful and unsuccessful is that people that are successful have the self-discipline to do the hard things. And when I say hard things, I mean the things they don't like to do. And it's not because they're any easier for them. It's not easier to do the things they don't like to do. But what the change is now is they develop the self-discipline to look at those things differently than other people. Other people look at those hard things as this negative thing, and they try to creatively run from it, and they do everything they can to kind of avoid it and make excuses for not doing it. Whereas successful people have created the habits or the mindset of looking at those things and knowing I don't like to do it, okay, but I know that it's important for me to do it to get to where I want to go, so therefore I'm going to do it. And I'm going to engage in it, and I'm going to keep doing it until it becomes I get better at it, or I get more versed in it, or what, or more comfortable with it. Okay, and that's a key point. So the idea with self-discipline is this, you guys, when it comes in terms of belief, okay, control the controllable. What are the things that I can do, that I can control to help me be successful? What are the things that I need to be doing every single day, or almost every single day, to be successful? What are the things that I like to do that I need to keep doing? What are the things that maybe I don't like to do that I've creatively found ways to avoid? And be honest with yourself. And then, do I have the self-discipline now to do those things? One of the pivot points in my life happened early on, and I will always forever grateful for this, very early on in my career. And I think pretty much whatever successes I have or have had in my career can be pointed back to this one moment, when the first time I heard the phrase that said, do the things that others aren't willing to do so you can have the success that others can't have. And that distilled on my mind almost like an instruction manual. That was, look, if I want to get a level of success, or if I want to, then I've got to be willing to do things that maybe other people aren't willing to do, right? And the empowering thing for me with that was that was within my control to decide. And I would look and I would say, what are the things and I might not like to do it, I might not want to do it, but over the years, and I'm not perfect at this, but I'm getting better at this, I look at things not with the emotional decision-making of the moment. I try to look at these things and say, look at them long-term, okay? Self-discipline, guys, really is about, in that moment, getting over yourself as far as looking at the emotional decision-making moment. It's like, for example, ice cream and kale. In the moment, if someone said, here's some ice cream, here's some kale, in the moment, your emotional side goes, I want ice cream. But your long-term self goes, I want kale. Where I want to go means I need to have kale. Okay? I'm going to get home tonight. I haven't done my workout for today. I had a meeting this morning, things like that. My emotional lead in the moment is going to be, I want to just sit around, watch TV, talk to my kids, hang out, do that kind of stuff. Okay? That's my short-term emotional thinking. But I know long-term, where I want to go means I need to do my workout. Okay? And so having that self-discipline, you guys, to be able to do those hard things, to think about it long-term is key. And the best part about that, again, tying it back to belief, you guys, is when you start to realize just how in control you are of your life and of where you're going, it's incredibly empowering. You don't feel victimized. You don't feel like you're just kind of tossed to and fro. You've got it in your hands to be successful. The fourth thing, and these last two will go a little bit quicker. Sorry, I know I'm kind of like rambling on over here. But the fourth thing is to manage your mind, okay? What I want all of you to do when it comes to belief and confidence, I also want you to understand that you're the gatekeeper of your mind. You're the one that decides what comes in your mind and how long it stays there. Okay. It's been said, I think you guys have heard this before, right? That our thoughts create our actions, which create our habits, which create our character, which create our outcomes. I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to say the inputs that we let into our mind create our thoughts, which in turn create our actions, which create our character, which create our outcomes in our life. Okay. And so if we think about that, how careful are we with the inputs that we let into our mind? This is one of the reasons why personal development on a regular basis is so important, right? What kind of things do we allow to come into our mind? Do we allow ourselves, for example, negative self-talk, like I've already mentioned? Do we allow ourselves to dwell and to indulge in ourselves and throwing those pity parties and really being hard on ourselves and just raking ourselves over the coals over and over and over again? And I don't know why sometimes it feels so good to do that, why we just let ourselves do it, but it's destructive. Because those thoughts, like I said before, we think they stay in here, but they make their way out of us. So we've got to manage our mind. What's the kind of music we listen to? What's the kind of TV shows that we watch? What are the kind of books that we read? What are the kind of people that we allow to hang around in our lives? When we get these negative thoughts, when we get these self-defeating impressions, when we get these, how long do we let them indulge before we actively take a role of getting them out? Okay. My mom taught me when I was little, anytime I had an inappropriate thought, and it was when I was a teenager, so I knew she was talking about girls, but whenever I had an inappropriate thought, I should sing like a church song in my mind to help get that thought out of my head. Okay. And so, and you can't blame her. I'm so nervous to read teenagers, you guys, I can't even tell you. But she would say, so what am I doing to actively manage my mind? And I've thought about that in my own weaknesses. Sometimes I find myself throwing these real self-indulgent pity parties. And, oh, woe is me. And, oh, my gosh, I can't. And I'm like, pretty soon I've wasted 2 hours and I've convinced myself of all these things. And I'm going, what am I doing? What's going on? And I'll listen to some personal development, or I'll go listen to some uplifting music. I'll read a book. I'll call a friend. I'll do something to get that out of my mind. So manage your mind. Be the gatekeeper of your mind. Whatever you let in there has an impact. It's not some quiet little secret you're keeping on yourself. You've got to manage your mind. So what are the strategies that you're going to do? Think about it. Don't wait till the moment arrives. It's going to be too late. Next time you have one of these self-defeating thoughts, these ideas come into your mind, how are you going to get it out? How are you going to not let it sit there for too long? How are you going to react to that? Proactively, what are you going to do to put positive things in your mind? What kind of shows you're going to watch on TV, movies you're going to see, books you're going to read, music you're going to listen to, people you're going to hang out, all these inputs that are constantly bombarding your brain. How are you going to structure your life so that as many of those as possible are positive in your mind? Okay? The last one. Okay, I know you guys can't feel this, but if you're, and Cheryl can testify to this, my office has the sun in the afternoon. And so I close my door so I don't get interrupted. My office right now is probably about 115 degrees. I have I won't tell you how bad it smells in here, but let's just say that we're glad that Zoom doesn't have that feature. I'm like getting a cardio workout in here right now. Anyway, I'm like in a sauna. So if I start wiping my brow and stuff, excuse me. Anyway, the fifth point, okay, that I'm going to make, and this one is actually a proactive now step forward. The fifth point I found in helping elevate and increasing fostering belief is, and I want you to write it down like this: incrementally increase my expectations of myself. And really what that is it's being true to the confidence and the knowledge and the insight that you've already gained. As you work through these things and as you put these things in practice, you're going to get better. You're going to feel stronger. The responsibility then is, how do we make it? How do we hold ourselves accountable so that the next time that rush of, self-doubt or other thing happens, how do we make it so it doesn't knock us out of the game so quick? How can we remain true to the insights and the confidence that we built so that we can build on that incrementally? How do we not retreat? Okay, how do we make a firewall so that we built it up to here, and so every time I have a doubt, I don't let it go past that point. And again, excuse me, for me, this comes back to the things we've talked about, okay, already, goal setting, all these other different pieces, but it also comes with the promise that we're going to make to ourselves, which is that we're going to be honest with ourselves. And we're going to make a commitment to ourselves to be brutally honest with ourselves in the positive, not brutally honest in the negative. When you pay the price to build your confidence from here to here, this is your new floor. You don't get to go back down here. You're not going to let yourself go back down here, okay? When you build it from here to here, this is your new floor. From here to here, this is your new floor. And you don't let anyone take that away from you. You don't let anyone rob that of you, because that's how we grow. It is your responsibility now to incrementally increase your expectations of yourself. And that's going to be hard. And that's going to require you to change some habits, maybe, of how you're used to treating yourself when it comes to this. But I promise you, if you'll do that, the world is going to open itself up to you, because you're going to realize just how in control of your life you are. Okay? And it's going to infuse you with energy, not just for Beachbody, but with all facets of your life, because you're going to stop running away. You're going to stop hiding. Those things that your whole life have probably been chasing you and kind of defining you in this little box, those bonds, those chains are going to fall off you. And it's very liberating. And it's very exciting when that happens. And you'll forever thank the opportunity that you had with Beachbody as a coach to discover that in yourself. But then the responsibility, I believe, is then to turn around and teach that to other people. Because part of the reason why we need to be good about believing in ourselves is because there's a lot of people out there who don't believe in themselves. I believe that's one of the root causes of the obesity epidemic. That's one of the root causes of a lot of the maladies that face people, is they've been conditioned to believe that their life isn't in their control, that they don't believe in themselves, that they're kind of victim to circumstance and what happens. And so when you start to believe in that, then you're better able to teach that to other people. And that's how we change lives. And that's how we really, really do what we set out to do as coaches. And that's how your business grows. All right? You guys, I appreciate the chance to have been on the call tonight with you. I hope some of these things were helpful to you. I'm happy to stay on, Cheryl, I'm sure as well, do any questions and answers. If you don't feel comfortable here, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. Love to connect with you there. You can send private messages, whatever happens to be. But appreciate the time to be here with you guys and to get to know Team Advent a little bit better. And yeah, I'll stop talking now.
Thank you. Oh my God, thank you so much. I took notes like crazy. I'm sure the girls did too. Does anyone have any questions for Kim or Cheryl?
Wow, I really need a haircut.
They're quiet today. They're usually not this quiet.
Oh, that's okay. I have that effect on people. They're like, I don't even understand what he just said, and I have no idea how to ask any questions about anything that guy just talked about.
Definitely amazing.
No, it was just so powerful that they're just like.
Oh, yes. That's what it is.
There you go, Cheryl.
I mean, can you guys feel the heat? I can feel the heat.
I can hear. Yeah.
There's a reason I have my diffuser going on back here. It's more for the aromatics than anything else. But
I have a question
Talk to me, Elena.
Tim and Cheryl. So both of you kind of talked about how, from personal experience, believing in yourself at some point in your life was pretty rough. So what was the thing, the moment, the action, or the book, or something that kind of changed it for each of you guys that you would recommend to someone else if you could?
Mm-hmm. Cheryl, do you want to go first?
Yeah, mine is really simple, honestly. I just got sick of being miserable. Like I said, I mean, I struggle with depression, and I still do a little. I mean, I still do. It's something that I just have to deal with on a daily basis. And some days are worse than others. But I don't like the feeling of being miserable, because when I feel that way, it not only impacts myself, but everybody around me. And so I just had to, that's why I said it's about deciding to have a good day, deciding to have a positive outlook rather than negative. Because at the end of the day, I just realized that I didn't want to have a miserable life. But the decision, like, people would tell me, oh, you can totally do this, you can feel better, you can blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it had to be something that I decided to change. And it wasn't easy. Like, you have to train your mind. You have to, like Kim said, really work on personal development. I don't know if you believe in God. I don't know what you believe, but you have to really hold on tight and just keep pushing. And I would repeat every single day for me, like, it's one day at a time. one day at a time. Like it almost became a game for me to try to win the day. Does that make sense? Like it really turned into a game. It turned into this game of, okay, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to try to be the best that I can. I'm going to be happy. I choose happiness. This is my choice. And some days it didn't work, but for the most, because I was trying really hard and I was consistent, it's going really good for me. I don't know if that answers your question. I'm not going to give you a magical book or an author, because at the end of the day, like I said, it had to come from me being willing to change. It had to come from me being willing to be happy so that my family could also be happy.
Yeah. I think for me, I wish there's not like one instance with it. And I think part of it was, so I'll just kind of list a couple things. I think part of it was realizing that I wasn't alone with it. When you look around, you see other people. It's always like, oh man, they've got it all figured out and they've got this. And the realization that everyone struggles with it a little bit. So I think that helped me. But then there was a couple things that I can kind of look to. It took me a while. I'm not there, but I still have issues. But one of the ways I've learned to handle it is I don't let it like dominate my life. Okay. There's times when I'm like, this just is on my brain and this whatever, and I'll allow myself 15 minutes where I'll sit down with my wife, or I'll go up the canyon. I'll just talk to myself and I'll just deal with it. I'll drag it out and I'll say, this is what it is. And I don't know. I'll allow myself to kind of just get worked up about it a little bit. But then I have a beginning and an ending time. I give myself 15 minutes, beginning, ending. This is what this is. And then at the very end, it's like, so what am I going to do about it now? And I always go back to trying to empower myself. Okay. There are been a couple books. If I were to look to, there's a couple books that were pretty pivotal to me. Sorry, I'm getting the book. I'm not leaving. Sorry. So I remember one of the things that used to stress me out a lot was I was always afraid I'd be misunderstood. Like I overly stressed about being misunderstood. I would go to extremes about making sure that I explained myself well. And I would stress about how people would perceive me and take that. So then I read this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Oldie but goodie. I read this once a year, every single year. The reason why I do this is because this became kind of like my instruction manual on how to talk with people, and it almost like gave me rules that I could understand where I wouldn't have to worry about being misunderstood. Then as I got more into, I guess, in situations where I felt like I was supposed to lead or kind of help other people or figure that out, again, a lot of these other self-doubts surfaced. Then I read this book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Again, another oldie but goodie. I read it once a year. Those two books right there really helped me have some actionable things that I could do. Now, one of the biggest drivers that continues to encourage me to stick with, all the stuff I just talked to you guys about is my kids. I look at my son Joshua. He's a lot like me. Okay, he's a worrier. He's a thinker. He's an overanalyzer. Okay, and I can see a lot of these things in him. And so I'm very motivated to make sure that I have the right disciplines and things in place, because as he's getting older, I have to help him now through this. And if I don't know what I'm doing, it's kind of like the blind leading the blind. We're both just going to sit around and go, oh, I'm scared that we're going to crawl in the fetal position behind the couch, and we can't do that. And so on the days that it gets tough for me, when I'm just like, guys, here's the truth. If you're doing life right, in my opinion, this is like now life philosophy according to Kim. If you're doing life right, you're going to be uncomfortable a lot of times, because if you're doing life right, you're trying to see what your maximums are. You're pushing yourselves out. You're not living to minimums. You're living to maximums. And I'm pushing myself in areas where I've never been before. And if I've never been in this area before, I'm in this zone or this, I'm going to be a little uncomfortable because I've never been here before. And so my choice is either to retreat to where I'm comfortable and kind of just be mediocre and kind of status quo, or I want to push myself and see what I can really do. Last year, I had both my grandparents die, my last two surviving grandparents, and my aunt and a neighbor. It was a rough year in my life. No one wanted to get too close to me because people were dropping like flies. But it caused me to think a lot about this time we have on Earth here. Okay, and I don't know what your religious beliefs are, but I think we can all agree we're here, we're born, and then we die. Okay, let's just agree on that. And I know that when I'm at that twilight of my life, I want to look back and say, gosh dang it, I wasn't perfect, but I left it all out on the field. I pushed myself. I tried stuff. I did things. I left it out there. And that was, I lived life. I wasn't a peanut gallery spectator, and I refuse to let fear dictate to me how I'm going to live. And I don't know if that answers your question, but at some point that thought really hit home with me. Okay. And some of those other pieces like there did as well. And just so you guys know, not every question has a 20-minute answer. So we can be a little more concise. Sorry.
Thank you so much.
See, no one else wants to answer a question. They're afraid what we're going to say, Cheryl.
I know.
What's the question? I have a question. So you kind of touched upon it where you said that you give yourself 15 minutes to, when something isn't going right or something doesn't seem it's going your way.
Yeah.
So I had that kind of moment happen to me in August. And so I think I gave myself more than 15 minutes.
I've whittled it down to 15. It used to be a little bit longer. I've whittled it down to 15.
So how do you make it work in 15 minutes? Because, it took me more than 15 minutes to, and let me tell you the reason why. The concept behind that is this, and it's actually, it comes from, anyway, I spent some years studying psychology and therapy. I thought I was going to be a marriage and family therapist. That's why I instantly go to Dr. Phil sometimes. I don't, but I think one of the things I always talk to coaches when I work with them is I want them to always be emotionally honest with themselves. There's a concept called cognitive dissonance, which is when we're saying one thing and trying to act a certain way, but our heart believes something different, we're at odds with ourselves, and that creates tension, okay? And tension, one of the results of tension is that lack of confidence, lack of belief, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of ways that we avoid that is being emotionally honest with ourselves. So when we're in a situation where we're worried or stressed, dang it, own it. I don't like this. This is stressing me out. I'm worried about so-and-so misunderstanding what I'm saying. I don't like it when I get rejected. That sucks. So-and-so did this, and boy, that really pissed me off. Don't sit there and be like, I'm not saying comments all like, hey, it's all right. Just c'est la vie. Whatever happens, happens. Let's just kind of roll with it. That's not what I'm saying. Be honest. But part of the way that we control that is we're emotionally honest with ourselves, but then we immediately start going to, so now what am I going to do? What's my reaction? And the way that I manage that is I allow myself a time to be emotionally honest when I can just be pissed off, hurt, frustrated, cry, whatever I need to do. I get it out and I own it. But then very quickly I say, okay, now what am I going to do? How am I going to handle this now? And I give myself, I have to give myself a stopping line where I'm saying, I'm going to stop indulging myself in this and letting it control me. And now I'm going to start controlling it. And how I control it is how I act. Does that make sense? And it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard to switch those gears, but you'll get better at it as time goes on. Like, I'm pretty good at it now in a professional setting. I still struggle at it in a family setting. Dude, someone messes with my kids, I go from Papa Bear, and I'm still really struggling to kind of switch into the other side of it because I just want to punch people. And I try to, you know what I'm saying? But so there's different facets, and it's not, in these settings, you guys, I know, we break through, here's 5 things. You're like, oh, it should be so easy. It's not. Mm-hmm. But you have to work at it and be patient with yourself with it. It's a process, and find the progress in that process to make you better and keep you going. Does that make sense? Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I have a question.
What's up, Anna?
Hi. And I'm sorry about the nose, man. I'm sitting in the middle of 34th Street waiting for the call to be over so I can get on the train to go home.
Hey, you look like
how do you fight emotional contradiction? I am going through that right now on a personal level, and it's affecting me in a very heavy way.
What do you mean by that? Give me an example, or help me see what that means.
Where you're constantly wanting for things, let's say, to work, but then deep inside you know that it might not, and then it's like you're fighting yourself.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm explaining it.
I think so.
You're right?
Okay, go ahead.
And it's like, things are not going to go anywhere, or maybe you think so, and then it's like,
Okay,
how do I
so
put it together?
let me start talking, and if I'm totally off base, just tell me to shut up and then give me some.
I'm not going to tell you to shut up.
So, one of the things I'd say to you, Anna, when I work with coaches that are in this situation, is and maybe you're not expecting this, and I'll try to tread lightly here, but I want you to stop being afraid to own your goals and what you're going for. Okay? And what I mean by that is this. There's a part of you that sets a goal, but then instantly puts in but if it doesn't happen, and I'm gonna kind of be this, and I'm gonna kind of brace myself, and I'm gonna do this. That's not owning your goals. It's not. That's giving them lip service. I'm gonna see what happens. But it's not fully saying, okay, I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna go into this. Sorry, now that I'm showing you guys books, hold on. This is a book I'm going to suggest you get, okay? Put Your Dream to the Test, Anna, okay? Sorry, guys, I promise you on most calls I'm not over here hawking books all the time, okay? But since you brought it up, one of the reasons I like that book for people who have a fear of owning kind of their goals and what they're trying to do is that disconnect that you feel, that's a result of not really being willing to trust yourself to just grab a hold of something and put all of yourself into it. And it probably comes from personal experience. There's been things in the past where you've probably been burned, lied to. You've probably been damaged, hurt emotionally, okay? And so you've developed these defense mechanisms, Anna, where you can say, okay, I'm going to do this. And you can do it enough to get some pretty good results, but you never ever quite put all of yourself into it. And that's based in fear.
Is that affected by your surroundings as well? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, it's those inputs. I'm saying that we're in our mind and how long we let them live there. All the stuff we've been talking about. The hard thing where you're at is it's and a lot of this, but the starting point is always the hardest in your situation of where you're at. Is what does that mean? How do I fully own my goals? How do I really do this? Well, the way I would ask that is I want you to think of something in your life that you are 110% committed to and what that feels like. Okay. I don't know if you've got kids. I don't know if it's a cause, if it's something, but it's like 110% I am committed to this. And this is what it feels like. And then take that same feeling and then compare it to how you're feeling in other parts of your life. And you'll start to see where those gaps are and how you act and how you think and how you commit yourself to those pieces. It might not be something right now. Maybe it's something that happened previously earlier in your life. But I think the first part, Anna, is just to kind of recognize what it is, call a spade, drag it out from the shadows, because these kind of things get power when they kind of live in the shadows. Drag it out, shine a light on it. Say, okay, I'm not engaging fully. I'm not fully willing to own this. Okay, great. So what am I going to do about it now? Now you're taking back some of that power. You're not being dictated to by this conflict inside you. I'm not sure how to do it. Say, okay, well, if I need to own this more, if I need to be more committed, this is what it feels like, ABC, and I'm going to start going. I'm going to change. And that will be the hard part. But I promise you're closer to it than you actually think you do. That one of the reasons why I do like this book by Maxwell on that is because it does, it will help you put words to those feelings. Does that make sense? And it would take us a lot longer on this call to be able to do it.
Yes, it does.
It would be a great place for you to start from that, because it'll help you put some words to where there's kind of some abstract feelings to you, and it'll give you some real starting points to go after. Oh, Jessica's sharing her screen now. All right, now we're back. Anyway. Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
I think we don't have any more questions. Yeah?
Or they don't dare to ask them, one of the two. It's okay.
No, I think we're running out of time. But just before we wrap it up, I just wanted to say, guys, I love this call. I appreciate you guys taking the time to be here. And I know that me and Kim, we just love getting to know you guys and sharing with you. So I have good news for you. We are more than happy, and Kim, I haven't talked to him, but I guess
I'm really
this is
excited
happening right now. But we're more than happy to have another call with you guys in November. maybe like a 30-minute, 40-minute call. But here's the catch. I want you guys to earn it again. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is please make sure to keep helping people so that this month, September and October, you qualify for Success Club 5 minimum. And we'll do this again in November. Because I think it adds a ton of value and, you know, it's just a blast. So let's do it again, but I want you guys to earn it one more time. Do you guys think you can commit to that? Can we make it happen?
100%.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Kim, and your hair for showing up on this call.
Whatever this is right here. I don't know what that is, but
That's awesome.
Definitely have to listen to the call to take more notes, make sure I got my notes straight. But we really appreciate both of you. I know you guys are busy people, and you know you carved some time to spend with Team Advent. We truly appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you guys for the chance. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
guys. Bye-bye.
Have a great
Thank
night.
you. Bye.